welcome to Bombay Talkies. My guest today is somebody who once again belongs to that league of actors that we describe as the finest of their generation and perhaps even today, but still feel that they haven't quite got their due. Pankaj Kapur joins me here in Andheri in Mumbai. Thanks very much, sir, for joining us. Is that, by the way, a fair way to introduce you? Because that's how I introduced Nasir, Uddin Shah and Om Puri. So
you have said very nice things about me. Well, thank you very much for that.
No, hardly. Those are not just my individual views. But is that a fair introduction, you think?
Well, if you think I'm a fine actor, well, it'll make me feel good, sure.
No, the not getting the due part.
Not getting the due, I would say I don't have any complaints against destiny. Whatever I've got, I'm all right with. Yes, maybe I do less work also as a matter of choice because I'm able to concentrate more on the work that I'm doing. But sometimes it so happens that there are months when you don't have work and one wonders why.
One wonders why, but one also knows the answers why. I mean, it's the same reasons for which people like Nasir and Om Puri are always looking for work.
Yeah, that's somewhere true, yes.
But would you say that you've scripted a somewhat different path because you took on many more commercial roles of the kind that they would still have turned away?
For instance?
Well, no, for instance, just the last film that you've done, Thus.
Yeah.
Would that be a role that you'd see as, in some ways, a compromise?
No, not in the least. No.
Not at all.
If I thought that I liked the way the script is, and I thought that the part that is being given to me has a fair amount for me to do as an actor, and there is something interesting for me to do as an actor in the film, then I don't see any reason why I should not be a part of that film.
You think that this was, your role in Thus was a substantial, meaty role, and it challenged you as an actor?
Oh yes, sure, it did.
So you've not, in any way, you think, made any compromises about the kind of film roles that you've taken?
No, I won't say that. By and large, no, yes.
By and large?
By and large, no, yes.
But your trajectory was different more than from the point of view of television, that you jumped into television much more vigorously and at a much more early stage.
Yeah, I did.
Why was that?
The main reason was that when I came down to Bombay to become an actor in films, I realized that if I want to earn money and if I want to survive in this city, I'll have to be a part of the mainstream cinema. And I got a little scared because not that all mainstream cinema is bad, but I was a little scared that I'll be sort of pushed into a slot, you know, either a villain's role or a brother's role or a friend's role of a hero or something. And I didn't see myself doing those kind of parts. I wanted something much more to chew upon as an actor because, allow me to say that I had come from stage and one had gone through Shakespeare and Chekhov and R. Kalidas and Bhas and stuff like that and had done a fair amount of theatre work for almost 12 to 13 years.
Tell me a little bit about the theatre phase. I mean, this is again the NSD background. This is again a very similar background to a number of other actors of your generation. You felt that you had reached a kind of a critical mass with theatre. You felt you had to move to film and television?
I would say that I was frankly very happy working with the National Repertory Company as a professional actor. I was employed there till they threw me out. And they threw me out, I'd say, for their own mistake because they first permitted me to act in a film called Gandhi, which was being made by Richard Attenborough at that time. And halfway through the film,
where you were playing...
I was playing Gandhi's second secretary, Pyarelal.
Pyarelal, right.
And they suddenly decided to take back my permission. And I was absolutely amazed because I had already worked in half of the film. So there was no way that I could have stepped out. And then they asked me to resign and I refused to resign. And then they said, we'll throw you out. I said, throw me out because I made a commitment on the basis of permission given by you. So that was about, about 20, 25 years back.
Right. So it was a typical sort of bureaucratic response from their side.
Yeah. So I had
permissions and clearances and so on.
Right. So I had to look for work. And for that, because I was doing Gandhi, I came down to Bombay, I was shooting, and Om happens to be a friend. And he told me that Mr. Banagal is making a film. Why don't you go and meet him? And I went and met him, and he said, you're coming with me. And that's how my my sort of career in Hindi cinema.
And which film was this?
Arohan.
This was Arohan.
Yeah, which was made for the West Bengal government.
Right. And that was the point of entry.
Yeah, that was the point of entry.
But and then you said that you didn't, because you didn't want to get slotted in those typical negative roles or those secondary roles.
Yeah.
You thought television would be a way out of that, or a way of
Yes.
giving you a different dimension.
Yes, and I thought I'd be able to play different kinds of parts, which is what I actually wanted to do. And fortunately for me, there were quite a few opportunities where I could play absolutely different kinds of parts on television for a good amount of 12
Starting
to 15
with
years.
Karamchand.
Starting with Karamchand and Kab Tak Pukaru, Pateacher, Neem Ka Ped, Zaban Sambhal Ke, Phillips Top 10, Mohandas BLLB, Office, Lifeline, and more recently Premchand Stories and Godan and stuff like that. So varied kind of characters that I got to play as an actor.
That was an amazing time even for television. I mean, the late 70s and 80s,
Yeah.
there was so much creativity there.
That's absolutely true.
And where is that now?
Well, you should be asking the channels, frankly speaking, because it is them who are deciding what has to be made and what should be made in the name of what people like. Because I feel that it's very difficult for people to reach out and say that this is what I like. Television is more of a habit. You know, you sit down in front of your dining table or the television or whatever and switch it on and see whatever is coming.
But tell me, take me back a little to those days then, all those serials you named. I mean, what was triggering this creativity in the medium at that time?
I think the medium itself was new, first of all. And everybody was trying to experiment and find their footing and trying to find what works. And at that time, the attempt of most of the people was to maybe work around literature or work around good stories, interesting ideas, something which is very different from the mainstream Hindi film.
Right.
So that a parallel is created where people are able to watch something sitting at home rather than go and buy a ticket and see something in the theatre. The role has reversed. If you see, today's television appears to me at least, like the 60s or the early 70s Hindi mainstream cinema. From the content to the way people dress up, to the way middle class is projected. On one hand, we have large section of these kind of programs, which
The
are
Saas Bahu
the Saas Bahu
programs,
kind of
yeah.
programs which are being fed. On the other hand, there are programs which have somewhere become successful in the West,
Right.
and
Which are just being copied
which are just
here
being
and-
copied over here,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so no originality.
And also copied in a very bad way. These are all poor imitations.
Yeah, but
of,
frankly, Srinivas, I don't
television.
believe in copying. I believe that in case you are living in a country of this kind, of multicultural, you know, where so many writers, so many ideas can be thrown up, why can't people come up, if they could, in the 80s and the 90s, early 90s, if they could come up with those kind of ideas earlier, why can't they do them today?